Hi there, it's Chris here from Fodder Group, and I've got a very special presentation today to give you a breakdown of the financial side of supplying fresh fodder to the performance horse market. Now, a performance horse can be anything from a racehorse to a quarter horse to an equestrian horse or cutting horse or anything that is exerting large amounts of energy in doing what they do. Now, fresh fodder, as we know, is a fantastic thing to feed to any of these horses, and we'll talk about that, and we have spoken about that in other videos. But today, let's focus on the financial side, and to do that, what I've done is I've put up a bit of a spreadsheet here that will allow us to go through step by step and look at the costs involved and talk about the profitability. Now, you're going to want to stay to the end of this video, because at the end of it, we've got some information in regards to a bombshell when it comes to profitability, and I'm going to hold that right to the end. And of course, if you do like this video or you get something out of it and it becomes useful to you, please like our channel and hit the bell, because we will be putting out content on many days that will be useful stuff that will help you get involved with this fantastic industry. Now, let's assume for the sake of our exercise here that we're going to produce 1,500 pounds of fodder per day. Now, that fodder can be produced in a commercial system. It can be produced in your backyard. You can do it in a DIY scenario, but let's assume that we can produce 1,500 pounds a day, which is not a lot of fodder. Now, we know that in any reasonable system, we're going to get a 5-to-1 ratio of grain to fresh fodder. So that means we're going to use something like 300 pounds of grain per day to get our production. And let's also assume that the cost of that grain will be $550 per tonne delivered, which is about what the commercial guys are charging today to get that to your place. And that can vary up and down depending on season and depending on trucking costs, but let's assume that $550 is the average cost. Now, we know that that at $550 per tonne, using 300 pounds, that we're going to use just under $75 worth of grain per day. And I've also allowed a $5 number in there for power, which is about what it will cost to produce that amount of fodder in America. Other countries who may be watching it, you might pay a little bit more for that if your power is a bit more expensive, but in North America, power is fairly cheap compared to the rest of the world. So $5 is what we've allowed. And we've also put some allocation in there for some H2O2 in there, which will help us keep our water clean and also help us in the germination and sprouting process. And to round it off, we've also said that it'll take about an hour a day to actually attend to this and grow that amount of fodder, and we put a labour cost of $20 for that 1 hour, depending on, you might do that yourself or you might outsource that to someone else, but we put that number in there to give us a true cost. So our production cost of producing 1,500 pounds a day is $100. So what we've done then is said, okay, let's go with a strategy where we're going to feed each of these horses 10 pounds per day, and that means that the system will feed 150 horses per day. And what we've also done is we've said, okay, let's work on a base price of 50 cents per pound, and we'll use that as a number to give us our turnover figures. So at what we previously discussed being 1,500 pounds per day, feeding 150 horses at 50 cents per pound, we get a gross revenue number of $750 per day, which is not too shabby for 1,500 pounds. Now, we know that our production costs will be $100 a day, which means that per pound, we're paying 6.7 cents to produce that fodder, and we're going to feed each horse 10 pounds, so our production cost per head is only 67 cents. Now, of course, we're selling it at 50 cents a pound, So that gives us a very, very nice margin, considering we're feeding 10 pounds especially. So our gross daily profit, and profit before you pay yourself and also before tax, is going to work out just under $20,000 for the month, which is not too shabby. And when we extrapolate that out over the year, you're talking about in excess of $230,000 a year, which is not bad for just 1,500 pounds of fodder. Now, there's 9 million horses in the US, and you've only got to find 150 of them to feed at 50 cents a pound to create yourself one hell of a business. But let's just add in the finance cost of that to round off, so we get a true picture of what really is involved. So what I've said is that our cost of finance, whether it is from the bank, whether it's from renting the system, or whether you've gone to a finance company, or whether you've borrowed it from your rich auntie, makes no difference. We've assumed that the cost will be about $1,750 a month for your finance, which is $58 a day. And when we extrapolate that out, we're talking about and deduct it from our daily gross profit over here, we're talking about a net profit now per day of $591. Now, that's before tax, and it's before paying yourself. That's over $17,000 per month, as you can see here, which is $215,826 per year. That's not bad when you're talking about only producing 1,500 pounds, and when you do a 5-year forecast of that, you're talking not far shy of $1.1 million bucks. Now, here's the bombshell that I spoke about earlier in the video. We've done our numbers on 50 cents a pound, but guess what? We've got people in the field right now that are servicing the performance horse market that are getting double that number. So let's have a look at what that does using my very average Excel spreadsheet skills here. We would need to times that number by 2, because obviously we're going to $1 a pound, and that would give you a return of $431,651 per year. Now, that's a phenomenal return on a production of only 1,500 pounds. And let me tell you that you can produce a lot more than that, and you can sell to a lot more than just 150 horses. So as you can see, this opportunity is very, very viable. Now, here's the thing, that if you were to go to sell that business, and now we're talking about building equity in what you're doing, you would get, well, let me just say that a similar business, you would expect to achieve 2 to 3 times the net revenue as a valuation. So let's say, even by conservative standards, it was 2 times the revenue. You're talking about a business that is worth close to $900,000 just by going out and finding 150 clients in your immediate area. Now, there are a lot more than that in your immediate area, with 9 million horses throughout the US, and a good portion of those being performance horses. The market is untouched. So, as you can see, it's not difficult to build a very big business. I'm not in any way saying that you will do this. What I am saying is that you can do this. That is the potential of what we're talking about. So, I hope that this video has helped you understand the financial side of things. If you'd like further information, there are links down in the description where you can get hold of us. And very shortly, what I'm about to do is release a webinar that is going to break down all of the different components of this, talking about the market more. We're going to talk about where to find clients. We're going to talk about how to go about getting those clients, and a whole bunch more that will give you a really good picture on what this opportunity is all about. When you see a link in the description to that webinar, you'll know that it's live. We're currently putting all the materials together. I know that there's a lot of people that have been waiting to see that, and we're really looking forward to bringing it to you. It'll be very limited in the numbers that we actually allow into that webinar to take a look. and we'll notify everybody as we do that. So I hope you got something out of it. I've enjoyed presenting this to you, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.